Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine. Today we're going to be going over my best tips for a Catholic pilgrimage. I have been on 4 pilgrimages. Can you believe it? I have been to Lourdes, Lisieux, France. I have been to Guadalupe. I have been to Poland, and I have been to the Holy Land. All of my tips, there's no necessarily particular order for any of them, but let's start out with the one that I think is most obvious, but nobody does this except for me, is to book your own flights, you guys. Don't ever, I don't care what trip you are going on, ever let someone else book your own flights. Book your own flights. They say, oh, it's cheaper if you book with a group. It's rarely cheaper. You might end up with the middle seat. No. No. And you might have to go to some airport way far away. Plus, there's always connections on these pilgrimage trips. They love to give you a connection. No. Book your own flights. You can leave at a reasonable hour. The most recent pilgrimage I went on in Poland, everybody had to leave at 2 in the morning. I left much later. Book your own transportation. The hotel, if you get there and you can't figure out how to get to the airport, the hotel will call you a taxi. They'll tell you how early you have to leave from the hotel to get to the airport. Book your own flights. It's not that bad, and you get the points that way. The next thing I'm going to say is always stay a couple of extra days either in the city or the country or in Europe or what have you to seal the graces of that trip. So of the 4 trips that I've been on, 3 of them have been young adult pilgrimages. And these young adult pilgrimages do a really great way of incorporating kind of fun into these trips. For example, we went to Our Lady of Guadalupe. We stayed a few extra days in Puerto Vallarta and we stayed at a resort. Pilgrimages are very go. Take a few days to relax. Journal, write down all of your thoughts, pray for the people you promised to pray for. After Lourdes, we went to Biarritz, France, which was actually just a drive away. It's kind of a sleepy shore town. There's not too much to do except relax on the beach. And it was great. Israel, you can go to Tel Aviv, go to the beaches. After the trip, seal the graces there. Poland, after Poland, I took a train and went to Germany to go visit some family. You can go somewhere else in Europe. You can stay in Poland, visit another town, just relax. So the key is to relax. After you have a go pilgrimage, relax and seal the graces of that trip. Journal, write everything down. That's another reason why you'd want to book your own flights anyway. My next tip is before you leave from the trip, post on social media, text your friends, ask them what their intentions are, what you can pray for them. Sometimes your friends are holding on to something really deep and don't feel comfortable telling the whole group, but maybe they'll tell you because you will actually pray for them. And then when you are at that holy site, maybe pick up a holy card, something, just take a picture, say, hey, I was praying for you today. Or when you come back from the trip, give them the holy card, say, hey, I prayed for your Our Lady of Knock and I got you this holy card. It'll mean a lot to them. It's very special. And it gives you kind of a second purpose to this pilgrimage, because sometimes maybe you feel a little selfish that you get to afford this beautiful pilgrimage and they cannot, or maybe they don't have time to take off from work or blah, or they really just need someone to pray and they just haven't felt comfortable bringing up a certain intention or something like that. Sometimes your friends will tell you about how they're struggling with fertility, and this is a great way to be able to pray for them. Or they'll tell you about some job that they lost their job and they're interviewing for new jobs or what have you. This is an opportunity for your friends to open up to you. It also gives you purpose on the pilgrimage to pray for others. Another thing you want to definitely do on a pilgrimage is do Stations of the Cross. I actually had never prayed the Stations of the Cross until I went to Lourdes and prayed with the group. Some people think that you can only pray Stations of the Cross during Lent. That is absolutely not true. You can pray any day of the week, any time of the year. Especially these pilgrimage places tend to have these big, beautiful Stations of the Cross, you know, up a hill or through a giant grotto or something like that. There's all these really cool places where you can pray the Stations of the Cross. I recommend printing out a copy of Stations of the Cross or having maybe a booklet before you leave to have it there, because you can do it on your phone, but it's not as nice when you do it on your phone because you're opening it. It's not cool. So print something out, bring it with you on the trip. It'll be really nice. Another tip is if you are dating and you are dating the Catholic way, which means that you are not sharing a bed with your significant other until the wedding night, a pilgrimage is a really great way to travel with your boyfriend or girlfriend. I actually did this with my first boyfriend. We broke up shortly after the pilgrimage, but still, it was a great opportunity for me and my boyfriend to travel and avoid the sin of scandal. Because it was a group pilgrimage, a young adult pilgrimage, he stayed with one of the boys on the trip. I stayed with one of the girls on the trip. That girl actually ended up becoming one of my best friends, which is so nice. But Stay in the separate bedrooms. It's a very chaste, very avoiding the sin of scandal, and a really great way to get to know your significant other on a pilgrimage, because it's hard to travel as a Catholic if you're trying to stay as chaste as possible. It's really hard to afford a separate hotel, to find friends that also want to travel chastely with you. And this is a great way to do it. Theoretically, these pilgrimages would also be a great way to meet someone I don't know anyone that has happened to. So personally, I haven't, met anyone on the trip, but I have met two of my absolute best friends on these pilgrimages. I do highly recommend you bring a journal. You journal everything down that you want to, but you're not going to remember everything. Try and take a lot of pictures, a lot of videos, but you're not going to remember everything that the priest or the guide tells you. Don't feel like you need to retain all the information. You can't, unless you have an incredible memory, you're not going to remember everything that they tell you. Another thing to do is to bring American dollars, American cash, because every church you go to, you always need to leave a little donation. And it's hard because when you are in, a foreign country, you get money from the bank. It's annoying because getting that currency and you need to spend it all, but you can't get the little dollar bills. So always bring single US dollars. And if you run out of the single US dollars and you only have 20s left, you're allowed to make change. Groups will pass around a collection basket, and then at the end you can go over and make change, take out some singles and put in a 20. That's totally fine. Everybody does it. Don't feel weird about it. Or another option is if you are with a friend, you guys can alternate. Say, hey, I'll give the money this church, tomorrow you give the money for that church, if you don't have the small bills to donate to the church. Another thing is to skip a day or skip a morning or something like that. If you are on these trips and you get sick or you get overwhelmed, because personally I'm an introvert, there's only so much social battery I can take. If you need to skip a dinner that maybe either is included or not included or what have you, you don't have to spend every waking moment with the group. You are 100% allowed to sleep in one day. Just text the group leader, say, hey, I'm gonna miss the first church or whatever that we're going to this morning. Can you send me the address of the second church? I'll call an Uber or I'll call a taxi, have the hotel call you a taxi, and go late to the next event. You are 100% not required to show up on time to everything. You don't want to slow down the group, so let the group know, hey, I'm gonna be late, and just get the information to the next one. To be honest, some of these pilgrimages, the food is not very good. The young adult pilgrimages, I loved them. I love the young adult pilgrimages. I made some of my absolute best friends on these trips. However, the hotels, not great. The hotel food, because you eat a lot of hotel food because those are the kinds that can accommodate big groups. Hotel food's not always that great. So you are allowed to skip the meal. I had a few friends and we would skip the hotel meals. Who cares that was included? It wasn't that expensive. We would skip the hotel meals and we'd go out to a restaurant and eat really great food as opposed to crappy hotel food. And personally, I like to eat McDonald's in every single country that I've been to. You can watch my videos of me eating McDonald's in foreign countries if you want to. I would rather go to McDonald's sometimes than have to eat with the group for the 11th time in a row, for the third time that day. You are allowed to go off and do your own thing. Do not worry. I do recommend that you do go on some pilgrimages. These do restore your faith. Do realize that, some pilgrimages, you're going to these big Jesus moments, then you're going to cry and you're going to be overwhelmed and it's going to be amazing. And then other pilgrimages, maybe you just won't connect as much, or maybe certain days you won't connect as much and you won't feel all the feelings and and everything. And you won't be woo. If you guys understand what I'm saying, let me know in the comments below if you understand what I'm saying. Let me know in the comments below if you've been on any pilgrimages, but just know that just because you're on a pilgrimage does not mean you're just going to be come out a new person. It doesn't always work that way, right? You go on these pilgrimages, you hope to grow in fellowship with the people you're on the pilgrimage with, and you hope to grow in faith. I mean, it might be, I have had some life-changing experiences on some pilgrimages, and I've also just had some kind of mundane experiences on these pilgrimages that were great and enjoyable, and I'm so glad I did it, but not everything is going to just crush you and be overwhelming. So keep that in mind as well, but I do highly recommend going on a pilgrimage if you have the opportunity to. I mean, as Americans, I recommend going to Guadalupe because it's very, very easy to get to Mexico City and go on a pilgrimage that way. I think that is probably the pilgrimage I would recommend to Americans the most, just because, again, it's very easy for us to get to Guadalupe. I recommend the Holy Land just because, come on, it's the Holy Land. When it is, when they start doing pilgrimages there again, please definitely go to the Holy Land. I loved Poland. It was absolutely great. I loved Lourdes. I would love to go back to Lourdes. If you have the means, hopefully you do have the means to go on these pilgrimages, take the chance. It's always great. These places are always beautiful and spectacular, and just be proud to be Catholic, and just remember that our faith is so good and it's so beautiful, and there's nothing else like it. We're so blessed. But let me know in the comments below if you've been on a pilgrimage. Give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss one of my videos. I appreciate you guys so much, and have a beautiful day. Bye.